Hi all, Derek from Distributed DBA here. When you think about your database performance, it's good to have an understanding of your baseline performance. Benchmarking can help you here. And for open source databases, Sysbench is a popular tool to use for benchmarking. So let's see what we can do with it. Why is it a good idea to have a baseline performance profile? Well, changes to your database workload can come from anywhere. They can come from the application changing, where they introduce new queries or modified existing queries. They can come from degrading database hardware. They can come from needing to migrate to a new location for your database. And of course, they can come from changing your database version with upgrades. Without a baseline performance profile, you won't have a good understanding of the performance, whether it got better or worse or stayed the same after the change. One tool that can help with database performance baselines is Sysbench. Sysbench is an open source tool that comes with some generic workloads such as transactional read-write, insert-only, and read-only workloads. Now, this makes it a very useful tool to do initial tests of database configuration changes or database upgrades. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we could do with it. Here we have a wrapper script for Sysbench. The important options for running the benchmark are the type of test that will be run, which will be OLTP inserts. OLTP here basically means transactional workload. The number of threads simulates a concurrent workload. This is 8 for our example, and we will run the test for 60 seconds. These options are passed to the Sysbench command, and using the script, we can compare the runs of a configuration change before and after. On the left terminal you see here is the result of a benchmark taken before a change. There's a lot of output, but we pay attention to the number of queries per second. We will compare this to the next benchmark that is taken after our config change. After our config change, we only did 327 queries per second, as opposed to the 488 queries per second before the change. This highlights how important it is to validate the impact of changes. Now, off the shelf, Sysbench can't really be used to create a baseline performance of your production database. This is because the prepackaged tests do not mimic your application workloads. And while you could customize Sysbench to be closer to your application workloads, this would take a lot of effort to create and maintain. Also, Sysbench doesn't really store a record of historical runs. And while you could create a system to do that for you, it might be better to ingest your query profile in real time using an open source or SaaS-based query visibility tool. Sysbench is a great tool for quickly testing database performance when you're making any sort of configuration changes, upgrading database software, making modifications to the hardware, or even migrating the database to cloud vendors. Think of Sysbench like an outlet tester, where you want to make sure that the electricity is off before sticking a screwdriver in the outlet. It's definitely a handy tool in the Data Guardian's toolbox.